By the early 1870s, a new commercial enterprise was being established in Micronesia: the copra trade.
Pearl shell and all other products are nothing compared to copra, which has replaced the cumbersome and costly coconut oil. Copra has only been known in the Pacific since the 1860s. The introduction of copra changed the face of trade and gave a new value to the low atolls, which are the coconut's natural home. No work is so popular with the islanders as making copra, and there is no other to which they take to with the same zest. Frederick Moss, 1889.
Copra was well on its way to becoming king. For decades afterwards, the dried meat of the coconut and the oil extracted from it to make soap, cosmetics, and other products would be the economic backbone of Micronesia. Adolph Capelli, an employee for a Hawaiian company, arrived in the Marshalls in 1859 to begin trade. Within a few years, he entered into partnership with José de Brum, a Portuguese who deserted a whale ship to live ashore on Ibon. The two men soon opened trade stations on several islands in the Marshalls. They built and operated their own ships to service these stations, and eventually acquired ownership of Likiep, which they planted in coconuts and used as a base for further expansion into eastern Micronesia. Trade stations sprang up on every island, sometimes 2 or 3 of them belonging to competing trading firms. The trade station was manned by a foreigner who settled on the island for a year or two to make his living, before being whisked off by the company's ship. A few of the traders, however, chose to stay. Edward Milne, who partnered with Capelli and de Brum for a time. Isaac Madison, who came to the Marshalls at the same time as de Brum and worked with him for years. Thomas Fleming, who worked as a trader on Ujai and Lai before settling down on Majuro. With his storehouse of goods, cloth and iron tools, and tin food and biscuits, the island trader enticed people to make copra in exchange for his wares. Sometimes he offered rifles and liquor for sale as well. The company's ship would come periodically to take off the copra he had collected and to resupply his store. Andrew Farrell, an Australian trader, notes in his journal,
"In return for copra, islanders first demanded tobacco, and it had to be the best. Scores of other articles were in demand: light cloths, axes and knives, hand sewing machines, scissors, needles and thread, mirrors and combs, hooks and line, pots and pans, mouth organs, rice, hard biscuits, beads, perfume, and, in the Gilberts and Marshalls, rifles, flintlock muskets, revolvers, powder and shot."
The rise of the resident trader meant that for the first time, people need not depend on the next ship visit for trade opportunities. The store had come to stay in the islands.